big record button. Okay, it's recording now, Alex. It's lovely to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. And I haven't grown this beard just to be in your next film or your last film.
Perfect though. It's perfect. You could be one of the miners.
Well, I'm trying to talk my wife into one of the £2,500 special gifts.
Come down to Almeria.
I'd love to. Well, she's going to insist on coming with me. That's the only issue. I've got a camper van, you see.
She can be your partner in it.
Okay.
As long as she wears a suitable Western attire, she can be a miner as well.
She's bound to have a pair of cowboy boots somewhere. Okay, so today on the New Daily Croissants, I'm talking to Alex Cox, Liverpool filmmaker, Liverpool-born filmmaker. Alex made his name, his first feature in 1984, which is Repo Man, which proved to be really popular. And then he went on to make Sid and Nancy with Gary Oldman and Liverpool's own Andrew Schofield.
Yay!
Who's still on the scene. He's on the Royal Court in a couple of weeks' time.
Is he really? What's he doing at the Royal Court?
Oh, he's doing well. He does loads of things, but because he's musical, he plays the guitar and everything. He always there's always a song in it somewhere with Drew Schofield. I know him. I don't know him very well, but I've worked with him in the past, and I've been trying to get him on.
He's a wonderful man, Drew. He's absolutely a very, very nice person.
He is. His son is actually.
His wife is very nice too.
Yeah, well, his son is now an actor.
Oh wow!
He's starting to appear in lots of like Netflix films and things like that. But the first thing I've got to say to you is, you're on today to really talk about your next film project, which is My Last Movie. And can you tell the listeners about the project, how it all came about, and how they can get involved with it?
I will. So My Last Movie is actually the name of the fundraising campaign. Because I think to call the film itself My Last Movie would be a bit pretentious, since Dennis Hopper already made a film with that title. So the film will end up having a different title. But essentially, it's a version of Gogol's book Dead Souls, which was about a man in Russia in the 1840s or 1850s, acquiring lists of names of dead serfs, so that he could ultimately, he has a sinister plan, what he's going to do with all that list of names. And so I've transposed this into the American West in the year 1890. And we're going to shoot the film in Almeria, in the south of Spain, and in Arizona, in a western town about 40 miles east of Tucson, in Arizona. And we're shooting the Spanish portion in October and the Arizona portion in November. So the film will be shot by the end of this year, will be complete, well, I hope by the middle of next year. And it is possible to support the film by sending me some money to Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, if you go to the Kickstarter.com website and you just type in My Last Movie or my name, it should take you directly to the page where you can sign up for, I don't know, you can sign up for a streaming version of the movie, you can sign up for a DVD or a Blu-ray, you can sign up for a poster, or you can sign up to be an actor in the film or an executive producer. So so there's various possibilities, and I do hope, even though I have to confess as well, I'm not really from Liverpool. I'm a cardboard scouser.
Oh no, the Whittle.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I still be on the program?
Well, yeah, well, it's called Liverpool City Region now, you see, which is the same initials as our radio station. But we were 2 years before they chose to call it Liverpool City Region.
Well, it's funny because when I was born, it was called Cheshire.
Yeah.
Then it was called Merseyside. Then it got changed back to Cheshire briefly, I think under the Tories. And what's it called now? Liverpool City Region.
Yeah. It's like Widnes and Southport and all these people have all been clubbed together into one gigantic fundraising fundraising venture. So why did you choose this approach to fund this film?
Oh, because it's the only way I can raise money.
Yeah.
I'm an old man, and nobody wants to make films with decrepit old filmmakers anymore. So this is how. But fortunately, it does seem like people who actually like films do want to fund films this way, and so the campaign's been going pretty well. We exceeded our initial goal, but that was a very modest goal, and that really would have involved me making the film with glove puppets. So, but we've been able to raise sufficient money since then that I actually can afford to employ real actors. And Drew Schofield was one of the actors on my list. But Drew, as I recall, although I haven't seen Drew in many years, but he doesn't really like to travel long distances.
Yeah, he's a Kirby lad, isn't he? Really?
Yes, he is, and he likes it there.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was able to drag him into the city centre when we did Revenge's Tragedy and Three Businessmen. And when we did Sid and Nancy, he went all the way to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But I think he's happier close to home. But I mean, I do hope that I'll get to work with him again or see him again in some context, because he's a fabulous actor.
Yeah, but very underrated as well, hasn't he? You know, his career. He's been in lots of yeah.
People who know how good he is. You know, actors know how good he is.
Yeah. Hang on, let me just stop that. My phone was making a noise. He, I mean, I've spoken to him. I've interviewed him in the past, and he basically said he went along on a school trip to the Everyman, and that was the thing that inspired him to want to take up acting. It's just so we know how much it's going. So how much over the actual asking price for the Kickstarter are you up to now?
Well, I think we're up to about $137,000 American dollars right now, which is really good. But ideally, you know, because you know of the sheer greed, you know, associated with this process, you know, I'd like to have more. Because more translates into a longer shooting period. It translates into more actors, more extras, more horses. So it all appears on the screen. I've been very impressed because neither I nor the lead actor nor the Spanish producer, none of us are getting paid. You know, we're just doing it for the pleasure of it. But it really is a great pleasure. I mean, I can't think of anything I like doing more than making films.
So what drives you to keep on making films? Because you're nearly 70, I think, aren't you?
Yeah.
What drives you?
Well, it's like a vocation, really. I mean, I think it's a little bit like being a priest, you know, because I've never had children. Because if I'd had children, I would have had to have a proper job.
Yeah.
You know, I would have had to earn a proper wage and turn it over to the kids, you know, and feed them, you know. And I've never had the possibility of doing that, because the most important thing for me has always been to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So even when I was doing stuff like Movie Drone, when I would talk about films on television, that was just a way of making some money so that I could continue my day job, you know, of being a film director. And that's what I am, and that's what I'm always going to be, you know, because it's like being a priest. I don't think you can stop being a priest. You don't lose your vocation.
Yeah, don't lose your faith.
No, you don't lose your faith.
So the question I was going to ask was,
you've gone blank. I can't hear.
I think my microphone dropped out.
Oh, now I can hear you again.
Right, okay.
Now I can hear you.
I know it's called My Last Movie, but it's not your last movie, is it? There's plenty more to come.
Well, listen, maybe it's like the Who's farewell tour.
Yeah, you know? Frank Sinatra. How many farewell tours did Frank Sinatra do?
Exactly. So make it like that. Because I want to make another film with Drew.
Yeah.
I've got to come back to Liverpool and make another film with Drew.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about The Three Businessmen, because I went to see that at the Plaza when I think you did a Q&A there as well, didn't you? Because it starts off in Liverpool, doesn't it?
Yes.
And ends up going everywhere.
It starts off in in the Adelphi Hotel. Oh no, actually, it starts off in Lime Street Station and goes to the Adelphi Hotel, and it's the story of these two businessmen, even though it's called Three Businessmen. It's the story of these two businessmen who leave the Adelphi one night in Liverpool looking for something to eat, and because they get abandoned in the restaurant, and nobody feeds them, so they go out on the streets and they're trying to find food, and they can't find any food, and eventually, I think they get in, at Moorfields. At Moorfields, I think they get on the train, and they think they're taking the train across to the Wirral, but they come out in Rotterdam, and they look for food in Rotterdam, but again they're thwarted and don't get the food. And then they take a ferry. They try and take the ferry back to Liverpool, as they think, but they end up in Hong Kong, and so it goes like that,
Yeah,
so in one night, these two fellas go all the way around the world, and finally in the desert in Mexico, although we shot that bit in Almeria in the south of Spain, in Mexico, they find the third businessman, and then, the secret is revealed of what's really been going on, but we shouldn't say that.
No plot spoilers. Yeah.
And I think you can still see Three Businessmen. It's actually coming out again in the US. It's getting a re-release in the US. And in Britain, you can get the DVD from the BFI. So it's still available on DVD.
I spent yesterday watching Sid and Nancy, which I have not seen. Must be 25, 30 years. I think the last time I watched it was on a VHS tape. From remember the VHS rental shops? It was from one of them. The actual copy of the print that's on, that's streamed at the moment, really good quality. It looks like it was shot yesterday, and it was only made sort of 6 years after, the incident with Sid and Nancy, and it's very like a historical document rather than a film at the moment, because you see what Britain was like, in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
The cars and the streets and everything.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great just to watch it on that level, not just the the acting and everything. But Gary Oldman, because that was the sort of springboard film for him, wasn't it? Really?
Yes, that was his first film.
Yeah.
I'd seen him in a play in London at the National Theatre, and he only had a small part. He was like a spear carrier.
Yeah.
But he was, even then, he was a notable actor. He kind of stood out among the spear carriers.
Yeah.
And he just seemed perfect. Also, another thing about him that was very interesting was he was from Bermondsey, a dreadful part of South London. You know. Sid Vicious grew up. And so he knew the desire, to get out of Bermondsey, and so he understood that aspect of Sid's character very well. And also he has an incredible quality for mimicry. So if he's playing a part where there's a documentary record of the character, whether it's Sid Vicious or Winston Churchill or Lee Harvey Oswald, he'll latch onto that, and he'll build his performance around the documentary record of the character. And it's very impressive what he does.
It was astonishing. We'll finish off now. It's only going to be a short interview. I'm still got the open invite for Kenny Allen discs.
Oh yes, let's do that too.
We'll sort that out. So you need to pick your 8 tracks, your luxury object, and the boot that you'll take away with you. And we'll invite you to Kenny Allen. You don't have to give us it now. Don't overthink this. I'll give you the.
I'm already thinking.
I'll give you a couple.
Think about it now. Think about it later.
Whatever 8 tracks you choose today, they won't be the 8 tracks that you play, because you just shift them around.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just before we go, just give us the details about getting involved in the Kickstarter project.
I will. Yes. I think we've got a week to go. There's a week to go before it ends. And if you go to Kickstarter.com and you just type in, I think if you just type in my name, or if you type in my last movie, then you'll get taken to the page where you can sign up and give me all your worldly goods, so that we put them into the film. And as you say, I mean, the project's called My Last Movie, but with a bit of luck, I'll be back to make one more film with Drew after this one.
Brilliant. If I bump into him, I'll tell him you're looking for him.
Give him my best.
I will do. Thanks very much for being on today, Alex. It's been a real pleasure. And
It was a pleasure for me too. Thank you very much, and I do appreciate that you let people from across the river on the show as well.
I know it's did you get your passport stamped though in the tunnel? That's the question. Have you got a visa? The other thing to say, and it's just gone out my head what I was going to say then. I can't think what it was. You get like that when you're our age, don't you?
I know. How old are you?
Have you ever put something down and you can't find it and it's right in front of you?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I go, from room to room.
Yeah.
I'll walk into the next room to get something, and then I don't know why I went through the door.
Yeah. Well, the usual thing is you go upstairs and you can't remember what you went upstairs for.
Exactly. Yeah. I do that all the time.
Live in a bung.
Incipient dementia. We have incipient dementia.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. As long as you remember who your family members are.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all that matters.
The other option is to live in a bungalow where there's no stairs.
Yes, and there's that too.
Right. Thanks very much, Alex. Talk to you soon.
All right. Nice talking to you. And
Bye-bye, Alex.
I'll see you on the desert island.
Right. Okay.
All right.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Bye-bye.